So the question that I've posed is, what wisdom, messages or lessons does this particular full moon lunar eclipse have for Scorpio? Also, I'd love your feedback. You know, I'm thinking of making this a regular feature on my YouTube channel, you know, doing geoscopes as opposed to astrological readings on my YouTube channel, and then keeping my individualized horoscopes for members of my website and my newsletter, and just doing kind of more astrology focused cosmic weather forecast on IGTV. So I'd love your feedback on whether you're enjoying the geoscopes, whether you find them resonating or not. And you know, I am trying a number of different techniques. This is just a little oracle I've developed for myself. So I'm not strictly following the rules of geomancy per se. I'm doing this more intuitively. So it's almost a kind of a mixture of tarot card and you know, kind of astrology / geomancy kind of approach. But anyway, let's see what the cards have to tell you. So the first figure out is Caput Draconis. Now this card is the North Node. So this is the head of the dragon in sort of you know, ancient sort of mythological terms. So this is the where, you know, kind of incoming soul lessons, incoming soul contracts, fresh beginnings on a karmic level. So it's interesting that we've got this reset happening with the nodes moving into a new set of signs. So that's quite an interesting sort of overlap. Then next up we've got Fortuna Major. So this is the Sun in Leo. It's fire energy, and this is really about you know, kind of expansion and good fortune. So this is serendipity. This is, you know, kind of luck, and potentially also financial gain. So this is abundance, you know, on many levels. So that's really positive, and it seems to suggest that there may be abundance coming from your private life, so from your home life, possibly from a property, for example, if you've decided to sell a property. It could be an inheritance, or it could be a gift or a talent or an ability that you've inherited through your ancestral line. Then we have Carse. Now this is Saturn in Capricorn. This is earth energy, so this is almost opposite to the fiery energy that we've got here. Now Saturn, of course, has been very prominent in certainly from January, when we had the Saturn-Pluto conjunctions in the sign of Capricorn. Saturn is currently retrograding and will return to Capricorn briefly, you know, as we get further into the second half of the year. So that's just something to bear in mind. It may be that certain issues return and need kind of resolution or sorting out that are related to significant partnerships, so marriages, business partnerships, that kind of thing. But on some level, Carse is about limitation, restriction, or boundaries. So that may be significant here. Then, interesting, we've got Cauda Draconis. So this is the tail of the dragon. So we've got the head and the tail of the dragon. So this is the nodal axis. Now, Cauda Draconis is in many ways about things leaving. So it's what we are releasing. So this is the end of a karmic cycle kind of happening. And this is in your 10th house. So this suggests that on some level a soul mission may be kind of coming to an end, and you may be starting a new cycle, which is why we've got Caput Draconis here. But something in the public domain, or to do with your career or your public profile, or an office that you've held, public office, is coming to an end. So what I'm going to do now is just pause the video while I go and do the conversions so that we can get the rest of the geomantic figures. So I'll be back in a minute. Hi Scorpio, welcome back. So this is your conversion chart for your reading. I won't dwell on it too much, except to say that You can download this conversion table from my website. Just go to astrologysphere.com and you'll see the Geomancy page on my front page, and this will take you to a space where you can download the conversion sheet, which has got instructions on it for how to do these conversions. That's just if you're interested in experimenting with geomancy yourself. So just a heads up, I haven't used the consecutive numbering that is printed on this conversion table. I'm instead using the Golden Dawn system. So I've put the four mothers in the cardinal house positions. The daughters are then in the succedent, and then the four nieces make up the cadent houses. So anyway, let's have a look at your reading so that we can get into exactly what it means. So as you can see, I have laid out the cards in their correct house positions. So let's resume our reading. So as I was saying in the first part of the reading, the houses that are emphasized by this particular full moon eclipse are the second house and the eighth house. So it's really interesting to me that we've got gain in the second house. So this is the sense of financial gain or a boost to your self-confidence happening at this particular full moon. And somehow it has to do with standing up for yourself, because we've got Puer in the eighth house, which is kind of like defending your boundaries. It's asserting yourself perhaps when it comes to getting your fair share of joint resources. So if you've got shared assets of some kind, maybe one member of the or one party within the agreement has sort of had the lion's share of, say, profits, for example, and it may be now that you need to sort of assert yourself and sort of come up with a kind of fairer arrangement. But certainly it does seem as though there is through standing up for yourself, potentially to do with a past matter, or to do with previous agreements, or to do with maybe a shift when it comes to your self-worth, you could reap a lot of financial benefits. Now, it's interesting that we've got Caput Draconis in the sixth house. Now this, as I said, is the house of work and of everyday kind of activity. So it's almost as though it's saying that a new cycle is starting for you, a new kind of soul cycle is starting when it comes to work. So I'm wondering if there's not a kind of a career change going on here, because we do have Counter Draconis here, which is the end of a cycle. So there's something to do with your public profile, your public life. So this is very often, if you're famous or if you are in the public eye, that it's changing. And again, we have the same symbol in the 11th house, which is kind of group social media and sort of friendship. So something is shifting in the public domain, the way that people see you, or in what you sort of do, what you stand for, that is leading to gain, financial gain, but also a boost to your self-worth. And this is a major theme, because we've got Fortuna Major as one of your witnesses, and we've got Fortuna Major in your fourth house. So I do see it kind of an internal shift happening within you. This is another of your internal houses. This is the sort of house of dreams, of the subconscious, of the collective unconscious mind. So and also of your own sort of subconscious. So there definitely seems to be a shift going on that's allowing you to reap enormous rewards. But it does seem to come at the expense of having to cut something away. That's what Corsair is about. It's about kind of reducing, putting limits on. So in other words, not allowing something to sort of blow out of proportion, not allowing certain activities to continue. So kind of bringing something to an end, for example, or standing up for yourself and saying, no, I'm not prepared to tolerate that sort of treatment anymore. So it's interesting that we've got Corsair here in the 7th house and the 5th house. So it may well be that if you're in a creative endeavor, for example, if you're in a creative industry and you earn your money from creativity, It could be that something is shifting now. You may be kind of moving in a different direction artistically, maybe switching medium, for example. So going from, say, writing to music, or from music to the creative arts, or from films to TV, or there's something that has to be cut back. Here, of course, it could also be a romantic relationship, because this is the 5th house, so it relates to children, but also to lovers. This is new relationships, so kind of passionate connections. And we have the card reiterated here in the 7th house, so this is also significant relationships or partnerships. So this may be what needs to change or shift, is the, either the amount of energy that you're giving to either a significant partnership. So it may be, for example, that you decide to end a business partnership with an agent, for example, with a manager. It could also be that you decide to get divorced, and that and that this could involve a shift when it comes to children, or it could be that you decide to sort of forego romantic relationships for the foreseeable future, so that you can focus on self-worth and career. That's another way that this could work. So deciding to sort of do you, but and the reason that I say this is that we have got this. The overall card for your reading is a Missio, which is Venus in Taurus, and this is about loss. So it's interesting that we've got this enormous gain kind of happening, but it seems to be coming at the expense of a loss. So in other words, from loss comes gain, and this seems to be about the end of one cycle, the end of a relationship or a partnership, and the beginning of something new. So this is why we've got Caput Draconis, the start of a new cycle, in your 1st house, and it's emphasized again in your 6th house. So this is, as I say, work and everyday routines, day-to-day living. So there does seem to be either a major career change happening for you, or potentially a working partnership, or some kind of shift in relationships, perhaps because you start to stand up for yourself more, you assert yourself more, that then leads to a brand new kind of soul cycle. It's kind of like you're coming into alignment with your soul purpose, your mission. You're getting really clear, and this is because of an internal shift that's happening for you, that is allowing you to perhaps get more of a sense of where your gifts and your talents lie, to tap into ancestral gifts or natural abilities, or it's also, or it could be to do with self-worth, just kind of really getting a sense of understanding who you are and what you have to offer, that then allows you to attract more, that you deserve more, and you therefore, when you believe that, you would kind of attract more. So again, a really positive reading. As I say, this is a full moon lunar eclipse, so we are talking about endings and culminations. And so it's interesting that we've got this sense in these quadrograms. We've got sort of endings, but also this culmination. So gain from loss. So I'm just going to read you the keywords for these 3 cards. So Fortuna Major is great fortune, good luck, chance, power, effortless success, social mobility, winning disposition, victory, inner strength, and natural charisma. So as I say, this could be to do with your gifts, and your sort of natural, this kind of elevation of your self-worth that we're talking about here. But equally, it could be some kind of career opportunity kind of coming in, that allows you to sort of express yourself differently. So that's one of the symbols. And then Kase is imprisonment, isolation, delays, binding confinement, borders, locks, limits, restraint, and restrictions. So it could be a contract that is ending now. It could be some kind of contract, whether it's a marriage contract, for example, or whether it's a business contract, a creative contract with a manager or an agent or a publisher or something of that ilk. that allows you to shift in a different direction. And then a missio is transience, loss, breakups, separations, what is attainable or out of reach, to reject, leave, decline, lose, or be stranded, self-destructiveness, theft, financial ruin. So, you know, given that we've got such a positive card in your finance section, I don't think it's financial ruin. I think it has more to do with a breakup. So either the breakup of a relationship, a significant relationship, or it has to do with realizing that a cycle or some kind of collaboration or you know, aspect of your career is over and it is time for a fresh new start, which is perfect. So this realization comes sort of in the 2 weeks leading up to the reset button that is the solar eclipse in Cancer, which happens I think on June the 21st. So this is absolutely perfect timing to be making this realization and getting yourself ready so that you can then take advantage of the new start that happens later on in June. So I hope you found this helpful. Do leave me comments in the you know, the comments box below. Feel free to subscribe if you're enjoying these geoscopes. You know, then you'll always be notified if a new one is posted. And all the best, full moon blessings to you, and I will see you for the new moon in Cancer later on in June.